Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today, I will be taking a look at a book that I'm really excited to get, which is Ocultos by Laura Perez. Laura Perez had her first book, or I should say her most recent book, was the first book that got translated by Fantagraphics, and that came out last year. That was called Totem. This is actually her second book, and her first book was published, or at least that I know of. I know of three books that she has. The first one was published by Dark Horse a while back, and she's grown so significantly as an artist since then. It's even though I really enjoyed that book, it's hard to even wrap it up in like the same career almost. Then this one, then Totem, but I think Fantagraphics released Totem first and then this one. So I've been looking forward to this book for a while. Totem was something, and just Laura's art in general was one of the first like new things I found when we started the channel, and had told Sean like, oh, you got to try and get this person's artwork, and obviously she had had the deal with Fantagraphics, so. I've been eagerly awaiting, knowing that Totem was coming out, but I didn't know if Ocultos was, and I'm really glad that they did it and that it only took a year for it to come out, and really excited to have it because I really love Laura Perez's art. The story in this one and Totem are both more vague stories, and with this one, it makes yeah. I wish they would have released this book first because first off, her art's evolved and even better in Totem, and the evolution between the one that came out from Dark Horse and this is massive. So this is an artist that evolves dramatically between books. And this style here, this is the first one of the three where she starts working with less line and a lot more shape creating edges and stuff, which is one of the things I really like about it. And also, Ocultos, I think, sets up her own voice. Like the Dark Horse book was a collaboratively written one. When Laura Perez is doing her own writing, she seems to like occult writing. So I think Ocultos is actually the better introduction to her work than Totem, because it gives you a clear sense of what she's actually trying to do as an artist, which is make comics that work like the occult where it's like a kind of a veil, an interpretive veil that gets put over something where you need to be initiated to know it. These stories have that feeling to them where you kind of know like sequentially what's going on, but the point of it is like not quite there in the same way. There's more of this like between the lines revelation and vibe and mood and things like that, which are things that I'm learning to appreciate. I'm normally like a very straightforward, literal, what's the plot? But there are so many things I've been finding lately, like Laura Perez's work, where they are aiming for something else. And I think she really, I could be wrong. Maybe she is trying to tell a story and not getting there. But it seems pretty clear to me that this book and Totem and her art in general has a certain thing that it's aiming for, and it's achieving it very well. And it's a hard thing to put a name to, which is fine. So an example of that is just like this really creepy moment here where this kid is in the dark, and there's this, these are all a bunch of short stories. The characters seem interrelated. There seems to be some connection. It seems like if you read the book 5 times, more details would reveal themselves. So I can't tell you who's all who in here because I haven't done that work, but sequence here where, this kid's freaking out, and they're like, you're fine, whatever. And he's great. He hardly cries at all. He's relaxed all the time. And you see him in the room in the dark, hand off his teddy bear, and then these two little like black hands reach out of the shadows and grab it. And it's like such a simple page and simple composition, but it's so creepy. And there's just so much of that in here. Some examples here of like the majority of the book kind of looks and feels like this type of artwork where you have like the shape based almost Adrian Tomany type of vibe mixed with some Seth or some, I don't know, there's a certain thing going on, but there's also these moments of visual play where you have these very different airy compositions. Really like this stuff throughout. This set of images right here really strikes me much more like Lorenzo Matodi-ish type of vibes, and again, the type of stuff that's just really I love is super influencing me right now. Laura Perez was one of the early ones that I saw that was like stripping backline and working with shade more, or working more with like shaded stuff like this, that really got me looking at those places in the first place anyways. So stuff like that, I really love it. You can see here where you get some of this more like abstract symbolic imagery, and again, that idea of like occult storytelling, where the story itself is a bit of a veil that you have to see through and interpret some of these symbols, and just like some really beautiful images there. And again, some really, really nice use of these like very complex, very labor intensive pieces, but they have a very simple, clean design and only a few colors. A lot of the work feels more like woodcut block prints or something like that, which is again, one of those things that's been very influential to me over the last 3 or 4 years since we started the channel, is artists who think more about traditional printmaking methods and recreate those looks. And you can see that is something that's coming to play in a lot of the art here as well. I mean, even going back to something like this that has more pen and ink work, looking very much like a Japanese woodblock print. So really, really love the look of these books. The stories are, they're like little whispers of moments. So you should know that getting into it narratively. I think some people could buy it expecting like short stories that have like a standard narrative sense, or that it's all one story, and be frustrated with the book. But if you go in like as a bunch of mood pieces with beautiful art, that's exactly what you'll get. So highly recommend it, love it. And given the rapid progression between the 3 books that have already come out, I really cannot wait to see what Laura Perez does next. And I hope Fantagraphics just has decided that Laura Perez is a modern master. I agree with them, and I hope they are just committed to translating everything that she does, because it's fantastic work.
Stand